Spawned from MotoGP racing in the 1970s, the GSX-R series from Suzuki has been around since the 80s, and it definitely has more than a few laurels to its name. Be it on the racetrack or in road racing, the GSX-Rs have always been a force to be reckoned with. However, in the last couple of years, Suzuki has been falling woefully short in the leader bike territory. Although the outgoing model was a great motorcycle by itself, it just couldn't match up with the newer, lightweight machines that were putting down firepower in the 200 HP zone. But Suzuki has finally addressed these concerns. What we have here are the all-new GSX-R1000 and GSX-R1000R for 2017, which Suzuki plans to use for reclaiming its title of king of the sports bikes. But does it have enough bang to create a stir amongst the leader class lot?
Cosmetically, the bikes are almost the same, give for different available paint schemes. For starters, there's a noticeable change in the silhouette of the leader class GSX-Rs. Gone are the sharp points and curves that gave the older model its distinct identity. The new bike has smoothed out those elements and matured in design, although it sports a more generic sports bike look now, but that is a subjective matter nonetheless. The front headlight has lost its distinctively GSX-R bat-like shape and transformed into a smaller oval-type headlight. The large air vents that flank the headlight and the paint schemes are probably the only elements that will make you reminisce about the older GSX-R. The windshield has gotten smaller but is effective nonetheless, creating a decent enough barrier for the wind when tucked in completely.
Sitting behind the windscreen is an all-new, fully digital LCD speedometer console with warning lights lined up on both sides and the shift light at the top. The cascading tachometer is large and easy to read, with speed readout at the center and the gear indicator to the right. There are smaller readings for electronic settings, trip meters, temperature, and fuel consumption scattered all over the screen. Thankfully, there's also a fuel gauge. The 2017 Suzuki GSX-R1000 is noticeably narrower than the previous generation bike. The smaller fuel tank certainly makes it easier to tuck in on the racetrack. Suzuki has clearly spent a lot of time testing this design in the wind tunnel to get the aerodynamics right. The all-new tail section is also a lot narrower than before. It's got a tiny pillion seat and a single brake light that's similar in shape to the headlight. Gone is the signature 4-light setup from the older bike. The indicators are now located tail tidy. The single, side-slung exhaust is large and has a rather boxy shape to it.
Get into the saddle, and this is an extremely familiar place if you've ridden the older GSX-R. It retains Suzuki's stellar formula for its rider geometry, except that the bike now has a compact, friendly feel to it. Despite the seat being quite high, you're sitting in the bike, instead of on top of it, like some of the other leader class bikes. The new GSX-R doesn't feel overly aggressive, which is great, considering most owners will spend most of the time riding this bike on the street.
In the world of modern-day leader class bikes, electronics are key, and Suzuki has finally stepped up with a 3-axis IMU-based electronics package on the GSX-R1000, and a 5-axis one on the GSX-R1000R. This includes a 10-level traction control system, Motion Track TCS, Suzuki's low RPM assist system, Easy Start system, and ABS. The base model does, however, miss out on the quick shifter, launch control, and cornering ABS, which is found on the sportier R version. There is also no wheelie control or engine brake control, although front wheel lift is controlled through the traction control system itself. There are still 3 different riding modes, each of which offers different power delivery options. It also gets a slipper clutch and rear wheel lift mitigation technology that engages the ABS via traction control to keep the rear wheel on the ground during hard braking.